So hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 21 of our season 2 here on F1 Manager 24. Now if you didn't watch the last episode, go back and watch that one in Mexico City. Wasn't the greatest one for us, 18th and 19th respectively. At least we weren't 2 laps down like Frederick Veste and Yuki Tsunoda. Max Verstappen won that Grand Prix from Oscar Piastri, Charles Leclerc in P3. What does that all mean for the standings? It means that McLaren are top of the constructors on 745 points, Red Bull on 572 and Ferrari in P3, being chased closely by Aston Martin. We are in P9 at the moment. We could really do it getting up towards P6, otherwise we might find ourselves out of a job at the end of the season. Driver standings wise, Lando Norris is leading from Oscar Piastri, but there are still 3 people in the fight as we go into the closing few races. So what have we been up to in the meantime? We've got no car parts development going on. Of course, we are researching for next year. Top speed is where we're at, but we go to Interlagos and Sao Paulo this weekend. It is a sprint weekend, so slightly longer episode, 71 laps around this circuit. Car attributes, top speed's important, as is low speed cornering. We might be okay here. To be fair, the expected strategy is a 2-stop, but we have seen in the past some very, very timely safety cars, and it can mean that taking grid penalties could be a good option here, which we expect Dennis Hauger to do. All that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get through sprint qualifying. We'll see how that pans out, and then we'll see you for the sprint. So sprint qualifying all done. Carlos Sainz is on pole for the sprint tomorrow, followed by Oscar Piastri and Max Verstappen. Disappointing from us, Fittipaldi in P17, Hauger at the very, very back. He's got grid penalties anyway, but let's have a look at what tyres we'll be using in the sprint. Right then, ladies and gents, P16 and P21, we're going to go for the soft compound tyres. Fittipaldi can manage them, he can get to the end comfortably anyway. They reckon they're just quicker than the mediums, whereas Hauger's going to have to be a little bit lighter on his tyres, but should get to the end. So P16, P21, let's see how we get on.
24 laps around Sao Paulo in today's sprint. And it's lights out, and away we go.
And away we go, and my word, did Hauger get a decent start there. We could see that Fittipaldi straight away on the soft compound tyres down the inside on Esteban Ocon. That is a decent move in to turn 1. Very, very impressed with that. Carlos Sainz in P1. Piastri and Verstappen still side by side, but Piastri looks like he's just about got it back. But here comes Verstappen round the outside and does manage to get it done. He actually blocks off his teammate a little bit there. Does Piastri. Remember, Piastri and Norris in a title fight, whereas Fittipaldi has already made the move. Let's have a little look at what Fittipaldi's managed to do into P15. Got a decent run out of the centre S's, and as he got his foot down onto the straight, he also got a nice run on the kick Sauber in front, but as he enjoys that with Mega. Fittipaldi up to P15, Hauger at the back, P21, Leclerc started from the pit lane, I presume, in P22. Dennis Hauger starting to make a move or two, and he's managed to get past Logan Sargent in the Toyota Haas into the centre S's. Lovely work by Dennis Hauger. Got his foot down again. Decent move on those soft compound tyres, enjoying that extra grip, and he's now up to P20, chasing down Frederick Veste. Meanwhile, Fittipaldi just staying in touch with Théo Pourchaire as he now gets the DRS down the start-finish straight. Obviously, he's got that camber down the start-finish straight, but he's looking after his tyre as well and keeping out of the clutches of Esteban Ocon. Meanwhile, at the front, Verstappen leads from Carlos Sainz with Piastri and Norris in P3 and P4. Fittipaldi is on the charge. He's just managed to get past Nico Hülkenberg in the RB. Both got DRS, but that Lotus looks exceptionally quick coming out of that final corner. And Fittipaldi into P14 by the time he got to the centre S's. He's now just on the back of George Russell. We are just going to deploy a little bit of DRS with Fittipaldi to see if we can close up to these two in front who are fighting. Will Hülkenberg go for a move? No, he won't. He tries to stick it down the inside. Fittipaldi covers him off nicely. Meanwhile, Hauger's now dropped to the back. He's not enjoying his stay. He's been overtaken by Charles Leclerc. Hopefully, he can follow him through. Lap 7. We've got a safety car on circuit during this sprint race, and it is Esteban Ocon. I believe that's with Nico Hülkenberg. Let's have a look at this. He goes down the inside. They just don't leave each other enough room, and both cars, you can see Ocon not very happy. Let me know what you think down in the comments. But a safety car brings an opportunity for us, because these soft compound tyres will last longer. We're already looking after them beautifully. Gives us a good opportunity towards the end. Norris now leads the sprint from Verstappen, although Norris is into the pits, as is Verstappen. We have got a lot of cars pitting under the safety car during a sprint race. Very interesting indeed. I can inform you that we will be staying out. They're going on to another set of medium compound tyres. So Fittipaldi is going to probably go to near enough the front of the grid here. We didn't see the need to pit. Hauger's going to gain a lot of positions. This is a really interesting call by the teams, the AI teams, but we're going to come out in P3, and where is Hauger going to come out? Let's have a look. He's going to come out in P4, so Piastri and Sainz stayed out, Fittipaldi and Hauger stayed out. By the time we get back to green flag running, we'll have around probably 8 or 9 laps left, and our cars are in P3 and P4. Right, ladies and gentlemen, Oscar Piastri, he's going to lead away this safety car restart on the sprint now. We have obviously conserved his tyres during that safety car. We're now going full pelt as we restart. It's got to be said, I don't expect us to challenge for the win here, but what I do try to expect is that we manage to stay in the top 8. We've actually got 11 laps to go. This could be very, very difficult. However, could we possibly get some points in the sprint at Interlagos? What we don't need to do is let the Lotuses be fighting with each other. Fittipaldi and Hauger look like they are already deciding to have a little bit of a scrap here. Meanwhile, you can see that Fittipaldi is giving chase to the 2 cars in front, and Hauger really needs to do his best to support his teammate, and Verstappen is already past Hauger. Hauger back down to P5 already. Could be a long 11 laps, this. 10 laps to go. We are starting to lose positions left, right and centre, and it's got to be said, Hauger is dropping like an absolute stone. He's now down to P7. We can see Bottas just getting a better run in that Mercedes, and he's now up to P7. So Hauger at the moment, he's now out of the points. He's in P9, but Fittipaldi is just about hanging on to the back of Lando Norris, and this is okay at the minute because he's got Bottas behind him. He's still looking after his tyres. Could Fittipaldi manage to get a point today? It would be a massive achievement if he could, but he's got to try and hang on to these faster cars. And one thing that will help us is we've just got a virtual safety car. Fittipaldi just dropping down to P7, but again, he can now try and conserve his tyres and build up his battery. We're going to have a little look at this crash by Zhou Guanyu to see what happened. He were actually fighting with Hauger. What's happened here then? He's just spun off. That is a bad mistake from the Chinese driver. He needs new pants after that. I'm sure he does. But Zhou Guanyu spinning off. He's now retired. Fittipaldi P7. We've got about, I think it's 7 laps to go-ish once we restart. So we're just going to charge that battery up once again. Hauger to get his tyres back under control. And it's got to be said, the tyres around us for Bottas and Gasly are not looking too clever either. Lap 21, we're back to green flag running, and Liam Lawson's got the tyres. Look, it's a gamble we had to take. I think it were a right thing to do to take that gamble. But Liam Lawson now is in to P8. He manages to get the job done now. Sorry, he's into P7. Fittipaldi 1.1 behind Liam Lawson. We are telling him to push on as much as he can, but Fittipaldi now has just got to defend as much as possible. Always defend and make sure that you try and keep these cars behind. A point here would be massive. Hauger is really struggling on his tyres, and we're just telling him now to try and get to the end of the Grand Prix with 3 laps to go. And sadly, we couldn't hold on any longer. He's tried to defend as much as he could, but Yuki Tsunoda in the Alpine managing to get past him on the start finish straight. Fair play to Fittipaldi. He's going to get a really good go today. It bodes well for Sunday's race, but Yuki Tsunoda manages to get past. I think he's possibly, as we switch back, already dropped down a few more positions. It were a risk we had to take. We'll come back towards the end, but Verstappen leads from Piastri. And here we go then, final lap. We can see Ricciardo has managed to get Fittipaldi. We can see here, gets the DRS, and to be fair, he got it done before he even got DRS, did Daniel Ricciardo. Really decent move from him, but we're just watching now. Verstappen, fastest lap of the Grand Prix, crosses the line to win the sprint here in Brazil. Piastri in P2 and Norris in P3, but where are we? P14, P15. Would we have done any better if we'd had pit? I don't think we would. I think we've probably maximised that today. Let's have a look at the classifieds. And there we are then, Verstappen winning from Piastri, Norris in P3, then comes Sainz, Gasly, Bottas and Lawson. Leclerc gained 14 positions on the day, Russell P9 and Tsunoda gaining 10 for P10. Decent showing, bit exciting as well with the strategy from the AI there, but let's get to qualifying for the feature race now. Sadly, Dennis Hauger, even with a new engine, is struggling to get any pace this weekend. He's out in P21, but Enzo Fittipaldi has managed to get through to Q2, so let's see if he can improve on P16. Final lap then in Q2 for Enzo Fittipaldi. Where is he going to manage to put this Lotus? He's green through the first, second and third sectors, but only improves by around 2 or 3 tenths. That's not going to be good enough for an improvement on P16, and that is going to be him done. So P16 for Fittipaldi, at least he got into Q2. He did show some good pace in the sprint yesterday. Verstappen finished Q2 the top, but did he finish Q3? No. Piastri will be on pole. Leclerc will be on the front row beside him. Lando Norris and Sainz will be up there. Verstappen has a grid penalty, as does Lawson and Dennis Hauger. So there's going to be a few starting from the back. Let's have a look at the strategy for Sunday. Right then, ladies and gents, P15, P22, same strategy for both, starting on the soft, then the mediums, and then the mediums again. We do have the option of a good range of tyres, so it'll be interesting. We are expecting a safety car or two here, but let's see if we can improve on this, and let's get to 5 red lights.
Well then, it's not long until we get started here, and we should be in for a tightly contested race. Chance to see just what Charles Leclerc can achieve here.
A second place start for them today. They'll be aiming for a podium, but could they even sneak the win?
This should certainly be a good one, folks. And now, it's time for the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
And away we go. Piastri on the hard compounded tyre. Leclerc on the soft. Norris on the soft as well. Then comes Gasly and Stroll, who are fighting both with different tyres. A lot of different strategies so far today. But Fittipaldi in P15 going straight away for a move on Zhou Guanyu. And to be fair to him, he's made it stick beautifully. Fittipaldi up to P14. He's now giving chase to Porsche and Checo Perez. Hauger down in P22 at this moment in time. But Piastri manages to keep the lead despite being on the hard compounded tyre. Lap 1, this is going to be an interesting race. It's fair to say Porsche and Fittipaldi are having quite a battle here. Teo Porsche managing to get a lovely move done if we just have a quick look at this on the replay. But as we saw this overtake from Porsche, we will see a crash from Alexander Albon, or a lock-up at least, which has dropped him towards the back of the grid. He was fighting with the Mercedes. There's a big gaggle of cars fighting for the lead. We'll come back to that in a moment. But Alexander Albon just locking up, and that has cost him a lot of positions. But as we can see now, Leclerc is leading from Piastri. But look at this, all the way down to Russell in P7. He's in the lead pack. Then comes Verstappen in P8. He's not had the best of days so far. Enzo Fittipaldi is now in the DRS of Teo Porsche, or he's actually just lost it, which could be absolutely crucial. So we expect the Ferrari to get past him here. We can see Hauger. We've got another yellow flag on circuit. That looked like Frederick Vesti, possibly. But we can see now, it was Ocon actually. Let's have a little look at this. There are a few lockups. I will be very disappointed if either of our cars end up in a wall today. But Esteban Ocon into the final corner. Yeah, just locking up. Not good at all. Boding well for our sponsor bonuses, it must be said. But Fittipaldi now overtaken by Lawson. Can he stick with Liam Lawson and let him pull him up to the pack in front? Lap 7, we're going to see a Dennis Hauger overtake. We've not seen many of these this episode, but he's down the side of Alexander Albon. Lovely work from him. And Hauger is in at 2P20. Remember Liam Lawson? He was overtaking Enzo Fittipaldi a little while ago, and then he's just gone and done this. Just cannot get control of that Ferrari. Liam Lawson has not had a nice time at Ferrari, and it must be said, he's not wishing he was still at Lotus. Who am I kidding? Would you drive a Lotus instead of a Ferrari? I doubt it. We've got different battles going on circuit at the moment. Hauger is fighting with Vesti. This is a decent overtake into the S's once again. But Fittipaldi is leading the fight in a little bit further up the field because he's battling with Zhou Guanyu. They've been exchanging places for a little while now. But it's got to be said, Fittipaldi is making these tyres work for him at the minute. He's keeping Zhou Guanyu behind him at times. He's using the DRS wisely. He's using his ERS as well. But lap 14, Leclerc leads from Norris. Piastri's in P3, looking very strong, it must be said. Stroll in P4, Verstappen in P5, then comes Gasly, Sainz, Hülkenberg and Perez. The two Mercs in 10th and 11th. We are expecting pit stops around lap 20. We are boxing Fittipaldi. Hauger will be coming in a little while. We're just going to calm him down a little bit on his tyres. But Hauger's had a decent first stint, but so has Fittipaldi. Remember, it is soft, medium, mediums for both of the Lotus cars today. As we see, is it a decent stop? It certainly looks it. 2.4 seconds. We like it. We're now going to get Hauger in for his medium compound of tyres too. Is it a decent stop for the cars in front? We're going to get out in front of Tsunoda. He got held to let the Lotus go past, but Fittipaldi, out onto the medium compounder tyres. Zhou Guanyu, Ricciardo, Lawson, all on the hards. Fittipaldi could really push on this outlap. That would be ideal. We'll come back when Hauger's in. Dennis Hauger, 2.7 second stop. We can see Fittipaldi's been overtaken by Tsunoda, but Tsunoda is on the hard compounder tyre. We would expect Fittipaldi now to make these mediums work for him. We're keeping an eye on Zhou Guanyu and Daniel Ricciardo and Hauger. Where is Hauger going to come out? He's going to come out right at the very back, but again, on the medium compounder tyres. The mediums are the tyre of choice for the Lotuses. For a lot of the others, it seems to be hards. We've got a huge crash here in Brazil. It's Valtteri Bottas in the Mercedes. Let's have a look at this. We can see he's got an RB on his inside, and that is a little bit messy. He turned in a little bit. We can't really get the full view from that angle, but a few cars there struggling. He's not brought out a safety car, but I would suggest Bottas possibly got damage. Fittipaldi, he's got past Tsunoda now. He's got to chase down Théo Pourchaire. Fittipaldi was having a very, very good race, and then this has just happened. Yuki Tsunoda, is he going to dive down the inside from there? He is. Oh, and he outbrakes himself. He locks up. He smashes in to Enzo Fittipaldi. We are blaming that solely on Yuki Tsunoda, and that has smashed Enzo Fittipaldi's front wing. We'll see how that affects his pace, but Yuki Tsunoda, we are very disappointed with that. Zhou Guanyu spinning off next. We're going to have a little look at this at turn 10. Yeah, just never looked quite in control there. Zhou Guanyu, oh my goodness. Did you see him nearly hit that Ferrari? My word. Fittipaldi's pace isn't struggling that much. He's still fighting with Yuki Tsunoda. So we're just going to keep... We'll probably pit for the new wing when we pit for a second set of mediums. But at the moment, Fittipaldi doing okay. Hauger just got back in touch with Valtteri Bottas now. He's not having a very promising Grand Prix at all. You still reckon there's another twist to this? Especially as Lando Norris is on 27% mediums at the moment. Lap 37, we're just over halfway, and it's got to be said, we're quite happy with where we are at the minute with Fittipaldi. He's got that wing damage, of course, but what he is doing, he's just hanging on the back of Pourchaire and Tsunoda, and this is working well for him because he's now saving his tyres. He could be very quick towards the end here, Fittipaldi. He's charged his battery up well, I should say. Don't write off a point for the Brazilian at his home Grand Prix. We've got another crash on circuit. My word, there are crashes everywhere in Brazil. It's Alexander Albon this time and Logan Sargent, and it's just very, very messy. I mean, talk about forcing another car off the track. Logan Sargent, you might be in for a penalty there, it must be said, but that is in the fight for P16 at the moment, so there's a lot of cars at the back with Hauger that's struggling, but Fittipaldi with this wing damage, okay, Liam Lawson's now on the scene, 33% soft compound tyres, Liam Lawson now, but Fittipaldi is making these work beautifully. He's going to be in around 8 laps time. Could he possibly get a point today? We've seen an opportunity on lap 44 and we're going for it. Fittipaldi has just broken the DRS of these cars behind. They're fighting. We've said push it now. Push away from these two cars behind. Leclerc's just pit for the Ferrari. Verstappen's still leading from Norris. Norris, I'm guessing, is going to pit again, although he might be on a one-stop. Piastri in P2. Hauger is at the back still. There's a lot of cars with damage around him, but Fittipaldi now trying to run for the hills. Fittipaldi is in on lap 46. We feel we've got a decent opportunity to pit him here. He's fighting a few cars around him. Tsunoda again gone for the hard compound tyres. We are again going for the mediums. We are just running a little bit of research as well with Dennis Hauger to see how quickly he can save 1.4 kilos of fuel. So that's just a little thing that's going on at the minute. He's going to be in a little while on the 39% medium tyres. But Piastri's still running in the front. Verstappen now, where is Fittipaldi going to come out? We can see Liam Lawson just going around the centre S's. Fittipaldi's going to come out. Is he going to come out behind Lawson? He is. Lawson will be on the hards, as will Tsunoda. Veste is the man that he's got to clear quickly, but Fittipaldi's on the better tyre at the end of this Grand Prix. Hauger in soon. Dennis Hauger is in to the pits. P13 for Fittipaldi. He's got a few cars in front of him who are yet to pit as well. So we're quite happy once again with how things are working for Fittipaldi. Lawson's just dropped back a little bit as well. I don't know if he's just made another mistake, but Fittipaldi is past Yuki Tsunoda and looks like he's just about broke the DRS, but Hauger will come out probably just about in front of Esteban Ocon, although this might be quite tight. We'll ride on board with Esteban Ocon as he comes out of the centre S's. Where is Dennis Hauger? Hauger. He's in the pit lane. Is he exiting? He certainly is. Esteban Ocon is going to get out in front of Hauger. Hauger's at the very, very back. How disappointing is that? But now Fittipaldi is looking to chase after this car in front, and this looks like a front runner, and he might get some DRS from this Fittipaldi. Let's have a little look. He should do, and he does. We will take that all day long. As long as he doesn't try to unlap himself, we are getting helped out by none other than Carlos Sainz. Yuki Tsunoda is back in front of Fittipaldi. Carlos Sainz disappeared up the road, and then DRS enabled. There wasn't much we could do about it. Tsunoda into the S's, getting the move done. But again, we're not too upset with this. We're going to start conserving some fuel with Tsunoda at the minute, and to be fair, he is attacking Tsunoda and gets past him beautifully. Fair play to Enzo Fittipaldi. He's got an Alpine, a Ferrari, and another RB behind him, but he's doing a very nice job. I don't know whether this front wing is getting a little bit worse, but Fittipaldi is starting to lose some pace. Tail Porsche managing to get past him now, and we're starting to get a little bit concerned. I actually think Porsche sharing DRS with us is probably his best chance back up towards Ricciardo and Lawson. But as you can see, Fittipaldi 67% mediums now, really struggling to keep the pace with the cars in front. So lap 60, we've got 11 to go. Norris leads Verstappen by 7.4 seconds, but Verstappen is chasing him down on the soft compound tyre. It's going to get spicy towards the end, and really we need Hauger to start moving forward because he's not really done much. He's just been driving around at the back. He needs to get P20 for his sponsor payout. Couple of laps to go, and it's got to be said, Tsunoda and Fittipaldi are now fighting it out for P13. These two obviously came together a little bit early. We can see the overtake by Tsunoda into that left-hander. But yeah, we're nearly there. You can sense we're not quite in the probably the top 10, but we're outperforming the car with Fittipaldi week in, week out. It's got to be said, we had a long-term vision of researching the car for next year. This carries on. I'm not convinced we're going to be team principal next year, and that means that the work that we put into it will be for nothing. But Fittipaldi, P13 at the moment. Can he hold off Yuki Tsunoda? He is a lap down. We've got cars at the back that are 2 laps down. One of those cars is Dennis Hauger. We expect Hauger to get past Sargent at some point. For a couple of laps to go. Norris still leads from Verstappen, but it's now 2.2 seconds the gap. And the drop-off now on Verstappen's tyres mean Norris is in the better position. It is the final couple of corners, and it's got to be said, it could be a photo finish here because Fittipaldi and Piastri are going at it. Piastri's come from absolutely nowhere. Is he going to manage to get his teammate up to the line? This is so close, and Norris just about gets it. Fittipaldi, a lap down. He's going through the middle sector with Yuki Tsunoda. We're going to give him all the ERS now to try and defend against this. Hauger will finish P19. He does get his sponsor payout, but Fittipaldi, he looks like he's got Yuki Tsunoda covered. Fair play to Enzo Fittipaldi. He's done a wonderful job today. P13. If he hadn't had that damage, would we have seen a points finish? It is very, very probable, bearing in mind he was only probably 9 seconds behind, and he's had that damage for probably half of the Grand Prix. But P13 for Fittipaldi. Unlucky for some, but let's get to the podium.
And after such a fabulous drive here today, it's no surprise to see this man land on the podium.
Doubly disappointing for Max Verstappen. McLaren 1-2 means that McLaren are your Constructors' champions. Fair play to Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. They have looked supreme this season. So it's only the drivers to fight for now, and both drivers will hopefully be let to fight each other. We can see Verstappen there on the podium. It was a great drive from Verstappen. Gained 9 positions on the day. Fastest lap, 16 points. Lando Norris wins from Piastri, as we saw. Leclerc P4, Sainz P5, Stroll and Gasly P6 and P7 inverted. Russell P8, Perez P9, Lawson in P10. Gained 7 positions despite locking up and a spin. Porsche P11, Ricciardo P12, and we saw Fittipaldi gain 2 positions to P13. Dennis Hauger is in P19. Again, he did get the sponsor bonus, which is what we wanted. And we didn't have no DNFs, despite a very action-packed Grand Prix. Drivers standings-wise, Lando Norris on 419 now from Piastri and Verstappen. Leclerc's probably just out of it now, so it's a three-way battle between the 2 McLarens and Max Verstappen. No change for either of our drivers in P P14 and P19. Constructors champions are McLaren for this season. Red Bull have got P2. It's really the battle for P3 that we're looking at now, with Ferrari and Aston Martin going at it. P6 is still up for grabs for any of these teams here, including ourselves, as we head to Viva Las Vegas on the next one. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Happy New Year to you all, and we'll be back on Thursday for another Grand Prix. Ta-ra!